What's up, guys? So today I'm going to start off a series that I'm going to do monthly, which is oil changes with me, and it won't always be with Kate. Actually, it'll be with other people that I'm going to bring in, change the oil, talk about their rigs, talk about their struggles and all the shit it took them to get whatever they have to where it's at, and we'll do it with Torco. And I think it'll be a fun series. I think it gives you a little bit more than just watching oil get changed from a car, which is like whatever, right? Like, I use Torco. I've used Torco for the last like 2 decades. They're huge supporters of mine, so full disclosure, they support me. So I'm singing their praises because they've always backed me. They've always been in every vehicle I've had ever since my 95 Honda Civic from back in the day, to an RB25 build that I did with drifting.com to Kate, and it's always done me well. They make a wide variety of lubricants, so not just engine oil, not just diff oil, but also assembly lubes and all kinds of stuff. So check them out. They're not cheap because they're not cheap. Just is what it is. I mean, it's good shit. For you guys, the SR1 is more than plenty. I've got the SR1R, which is a full racing oil for super high demand applications, and you know, people who like to bounce that limiter. And I know a lot of you do that actually, whether it's in the dunes or on the rocks. You guys are pretty hard on your motors, so I don't think it's out of the realm of reason that you would want to go with, you know, Torco as a fluid. I don't think you need the racing one, but I do think you need something that is really formulated for high demand, high torque, high load applications. Same with their racing gear oil. I used the 85 140. It's got, you know, special adhesion, you know, chemicals, all that in there to stick to your parts, create a solid film and protect the metal to metal wear, which is what oil does, right? It creates that little film between two pieces of metal, so that when they're coming in contact, when it's under load, you're not grinding, you're not getting those tons of metal flakes when you're doing your fill. Like when I pulled my plugs, I barely found any metal on my drain plug, and a little bit's always common, but you know, you can tell the difference between using shitty product and good product. Anyways, we're gonna change our oil. I'll do a quick little call out on some cool things about Kate, and then the next one's gonna be even better because it's not gonna be my face that you only see. It'll be somebody else, and I don't know who. But send me a DM if you're interested. Your vehicle's overdue for an oil change, and maybe and you're local to Southern California, and maybe it'll be you, right? Anyways, let's get to it. What really sucks about my drain plug, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. You can see how close the drain plug is to the U-joint of the drive shaft, and I was worried it was gonna hit it, so I thought I'd be really careful, but I ended up screwing up and getting oil freaking everywhere. But at least she's almost done, and then we can start getting oil into the motor. Now we're ready to throw in our oil. One thing you'll notice, it says 1.056 US quarts, and we only need 6, but that 0.05, 0.06 is what I feel is left over inside the bottle. So I usually just do 6 bottles and call it good. See that right there? Made in the USA. For those of you who like domestic companies, Torco's one of them. There's one. Just repeat that 5 more times. And that's it. Go ahead, tighten your oil filler cap back on, and you're done. Now, like I said, what I'd like to do with these changes is also point out some stuff about the vehicle and kind of talk about what each vehicle has, is some of the thoughts behind it, so on and so forth. For Kate, a couple things that are new are our Genesis dual battery kit. We installed a 10 amp NOCO battery tender, and then the other thing that we have is our PSC system, which really helps with moving our tires around over stock. The pump alone is night and day over the stock pump, and then we also have the big bore kit, which, you know, makes it easy to trim with just one finger. We also have a dual S-Pod setup here. We've got quite a few switches, a lot of lights on Kate thanks to KC. And so in order to just manage everything, including some other auxiliary pieces on the vehicle like our air pump, I utilize up to 16 switches on the Jeep. And I think when everything's dialed, I usually use about everything. Even my lockers are on the S-Pod. So quite a few things connect to that system. Beyond that, we do have a mission motor radiator. This thing has kept Kate around 190 degrees even. It's been working really well. There is an issue with we're losing some fluid, so I don't know if we got blow-by, or not blow-by, but I don't know if water's entering into the system, but the oil looks fine. I just don't know where we're losing the liquid. It could be through our Nalgene catch can, I don't know. But that is on the list of things to kind of figure out about Kate. Otherwise, yeah, that's a 5.3 liter truck motor inside of Kate. What else? We've got a couple of cyclones for engine illumination at night if I have to work on anything or if I have to check anything out. Those are super clutch. I got the frosted lenses, so Cyclone 2s work amazing. All right, let's head down below, fill up our diff oil, and see what we got underneath Kate. We're getting ready to fill up our diff on the front. Little trick I like to do when I'm doing my diff oil is I like to leave the bottles in the sun. Kind of warms them up and makes them flow a lot better. So I make a small tiny hole on the top of the bottle right here. It allows it to come out slowly and I can kind of pour it in much easier. There we go. And just go ahead and pour in your 2.5. Once you're done with that, we'll screw everything back on, tighten it all up, and we're done. So what do we have down here? We've got all Terraflex arms and rods and ends. Control arms, we use the IRs. Tie rod is their beefier tie rod for their own axles that they sell. Works for this. We don't have a lot of clearance though between the front of the back of our tie rod and the front of our cover. So this is something I'm gonna have to address. But we do have the Curry 60 Extreme 60s, like I said. Beyond that, we are running Rancho Racing knuckles, and we're running stock hubs actually, which, you know, hindsight being 2020, I probably wouldn't have done it that way if I can go back and change the approach. Over here, you see this little bracket, this guy right here? That's a light bracket. So I've got to machine a couple screws to work well with this. We have a little bit of an issue with clearance, but I use these for my KC Flexera, the new Flexera 1s. So that's where that goes. Otherwise, that's pretty much it underneath Kate. Of course, we've got the Bilstein suspension, the rock jump, anti-rocks, and iBox springs on our Bilsteins. Oh, one other thing is we are using the Terraflex Delta Big Brake Kit, which is a 14-inch rotor, I believe, and dual piston front and rear caliper. So huge amount of stopping power. And we've got our Cyclones that you may or may not have seen us install not too long ago. It's the 2.0s right there, right into our Nemesis bumper. Oh, speaking of the front of Kate, this little guy right here, yeah, that's the Ultra Hook from Factor 55. Bitchin' little setup, all closed system winching. That's their bread and butter. Essentially, there is no open end to the line or the hook or anything. Everything's closed off. So super safe, far safer than your standard hook style. And we paired that with the Warren Xeon 10,000 pound winch. On the front, we've got a couple brackets we created for the KC Flexera 3s. I actually had a guy back into this light at Kicking the Hammers. Broke half of it, but I was able to get it back on and it's fine, so whatever, it's hammers. And that's about it on the front end. Oh, this is the Nemesis front aluminum bumper. It's got an interior steel kind of basket that the winch sits on, and then it's got an aluminum shell that goes on top of that to button it all up all nice. But the aluminum's beautiful, and I really like how it looks. I don't even want to mess with it. I'm going to leave it raw, just like that. And then, of course, if you know anything about me, you know I'm a die-hard Milestar Patagonia user, and I've wrapped my Dirty Life Canyon Race beadlocks in 38 by 13.5 Milestar Patagonia MT02 rubber. All right, so same as the front, we're gonna get the rear done. The rear takes 3 versus the 2.5 up front. And yeah, we're just gonna poke a couple holes and then just start pouring it in. Super easy way of doing it. Like my buddy Marco would say, super easy to fill. You should use a funnel, but especially in the rear, there's not a lot of space to go up. So, you know, I might trip a little bit, but it works pretty well. And that is it. Go ahead and screw your fill plug back on, and our fluids are changed. Like the front, we have Curry 60s in the rear. That's I believe it's a 40 spline axle. We've got all of our links and arms Terraflex. We've got our hydro tank pump over here, which is substantially dirty. We've got our Bilstein 9200s on both sides with triple bypasses, and you can see the custom structure that John over at Castle Fab created to mount our shocks, and the Delta big brake kits on either side, which we're still working on. Not to mention we got a lot of cleaning to do. Alright guys, so that's about it. We changed our diff fluid, we changed our engine oil. Huge thanks to Torco. If you want to learn more about them, you can follow them online on Instagram at Torco USA, or check them out online at torco.com. In regards to Kate, reach out. Like I said, I will be doing some more of these. I plan to do about 9 more of these. So if you're interested, reach out. Love to see what you got. Possibly feature you and do a little engine oil change or a diff oil change. I guess I'll let you guys choose when we cross that bridge. Thanks for watching. Once again, Ollie from Kate the Jeep. You can find me on YouTube at Fix Break Repeat. And as usual, more to come.